Ulrika Hasselgren, thank you to be with us today. You are head of Ethix. We are talking with you about the rating model of Ethix and how investors are, you are watching investors or you are watching companies with your model. How can we talk about your model, our model, Ethix model, and how it differ, how it works and differ from other models?
Okay. Well, in terms of the rating models, we provide two distinct rating models, and they're quite different to each other. One of the models is the norm-based screening, and this was developed already in the year 2000 for when we work with the Swedish state pension fund AP7. This model is identifying companies all over the world involved in situations where human rights violations occur, or environmental degradation, labor practices, and corruption. And this model is focusing on addressing what management does about these alleged violations. The other model we have is the Nordic Sustainability Stars, and that is an analysis that focuses on governance and the management of environmental and social risks and opportunities. And it looks at several important governance factors, such as formal responsibility for sustainability, policy and management systems, risk awareness, whether sustainability is integrated into business strategy, and also, of course, if the company has targets which are time-bound and measurable with regards to sustainability. So to look at these two rating models, norm-based screening on the one hand, you can say is focusing on problematic issues, whereas the Sustainability Stars model highlights really good practice. Both of these models are used by investors as a tool for risk management, as a basis for company dialogue and active engagement from an investor perspective, and of course to screen a portfolio.
Mm-hmm. How does Ethix collaborate directly with asset owners? Nordic asset owners.
Okay, with Nordic asset owners, we work very closely with the asset owners, and we help them both on developing their policy for sustainable, responsible investment, and then of course also help them with a strategy to implement this policy. And this can include company research, portfolio monitoring, as well as helping them in their engagement activities as owners in companies. And we also help them with communication with stakeholders. For example, the AP7 case, we have helped them, we've been their advisors since 2000, and so we help them along all these lines with policy and company research and dialogue and communication.
Mm-hmm. Is it possible to provide standard information relevant to all asset owners?
That's a very interesting question, because I think there is standard information out there, and from what we provide and other providers. And both the norm-based screening, looking at global issues, and the sustainability model, looking at very specific governance issues. This is used by many asset owners, but the way they use it is different. So for some investors, they will use it to define their benchmark, their investment universe. They will screen their portfolio, maybe take out some stocks that does not qualify to their policy, and they may use it as a basis for engaging with companies through dialogue.
How does Ethix evaluate governments?
We evaluate governments covering currently all the countries in emerging markets. And we have a similar approach as the norm-based screening, so that we look at governments in emerging markets with regards to their commitment and conduct, referring to key international conventions and other international instruments in the area of human rights, international humanitarian law, environmental impact, labor standards, and anti-corruption.
Maybe last question about the crisis. Do you think the crisis will enforce your work, the work of Ethix?
This is what we have experienced so far, that the way we work with investors and also looking at the crisis has strengthened responsible investors. And as the crisis has identified and put really a spotlight on some of the worst practices in terms of governance, short-term transparency, etc., our role as advisor to investors is rather strengthened by the crisis.
Ulrika Hasselgren, thank you to have been with us today. You are CEO of Ethix.